It is a statute that allows us to seek enhanced penalties for drug dealers who sell drugs that result in the serious bodily injury or death.
Right now on News Channel 6 at 7, South Carolina officials say state agencies need to work together to tackle the ongoing opioid epidemic.
Temperatures dropping for the weekend, plus a couple showers coming our way. Forecast next.
Also tonight, hear from Burke County officials about the new program put in place to keep your kids safe on the way home from school. Your News at 7 starts right now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 7.
Good evening, everyone. You are watching News Channel 6 at 7. I'm Jenny Montgomery. John and Dee are off tonight. Thank you for joining us. Today, members of various state and federal agencies were at USC Law School to talk about the opioid epidemic and how it affects pretty much every facet of life. Capitol reporter George Godfrey tells us why panelists say it's necessary to collaborate.
The symposium featured healthcare professionals, local law enforcement, state lawmakers, and the United States Attorney's Office. All agree the solution to the opioid problem here is working together and crossing agency lines. Panelists at a symposium held at the University of South Carolina Law School Friday shared the role different agencies in the state play in battling the opioid epidemic. Close to 700 people died from the drug last year.
Health law and how it's impacted by things from health insurance to prescribing guidelines from doctors. The government aspect kind of talks about policies that maybe have contributed to the opioid crisis.
The United States Attorney's Office explained laws in place to help states fill in the gaps when prosecuting dealers of opioids.
It is a statute that allows us to seek enhanced penalties for drug dealers who sell drugs that result in the serious bodily injury or death of a person who consumes those drugs.
The penalty for that is at minimum 20 years in prison. Healthcare professionals were also involved in the conversation. Sheriff Leon Lott of Richland County said prescribed medicines are leading patients to use harder drugs like heroin, causing doctors to have to limit their prescriptions and monitor who's prescribed what.
In 2016, there was a payer mandate that required doctors and practitioners to check that PNP for Medicaid patients. And as mentioned earlier, there was a 2017 legislative mandate that came into effect that would require the checking of that program whenever a person was prescribed a Schedule II drug.
The Department of Health and Environmental Control reports that more than 4 million opioid prescriptions were filled last year. In Columbia, George Godfrey.
DHEC also reports that Narcan, the overdose reversal drug, was administered close to 8,000 times last year. There was extra security back out at Midland Valley High School today. You remember yesterday the school received at least 3 telephone threats. Investigators say those calls came from outside the United States. They're working with federal authorities to track down the source. Meanwhile, extra security and sheriff's deputies were brought in to ensure the safety of everyone inside today. Classes continued as normal. Senator Cory Booker, one of 10 Democrats who's announced candidacy for president in 2020, will be in our area this weekend. Booker will be at Massachusetts Hall at Voorhees College in Denmark at 6 on Sunday. The doors open at 5. It's one of several stops in the Palmetto State that day. If you're interested in attending, you need to RSVP on Booker's website. We've got a link set up on WJBF.com. A local man will spend 2.5 years in federal prison after being convicted of healthcare fraud. Court documents show Jonathan Dwayne Austin of Martinez admitted to submitting false claims for prescription reimbursements of nearly $1.5 million. He also admitted to defrauding Social Security. Austin will also have to pay more than $1.4 million in fines. A Barnwell County committee is working to come up with a solution to the county's slow EMS response times. That committee met for the first time today. News Channel 6's Sean Cabbage-Stalk has more.
The committee, made up of area firefighters, E911 personnel, medical professionals, and representatives from MedSure, the area ambulance provider.
first responder capacity is not the same across the county.
Officials created a list of concerns trying to come up with a fix. The initial list included items such as situations where no transport vehicles were available, destination limitations of ambulances, as well as staffing shortages.
What resources do we have in our county that we could spin up that would try to, it might take years to get there, but I mean to start pushing in that direction.
There's also a concern over the numbers you may have outside of your home to let emergency personnel know how to find you.
And I've been in Blount all my life, and there's houses that I go past them, I got to turn around and come back because there's no numbers on the house.
And a list of about 15 items was knocked down to nearly 5 to work on as soon as possible, pending the okay from County Council.
Well, first of all was the level 0 situation with our EMS or ambulances. Number 2 was the interoperability with other emergency agencies in the county, relationships with fire departments and all that stuff, and tied to that was the appropriate utilization of the responders. Number 3 was the communication concerns, the 911 signage for private property.
And the limitations on staffing from the high school level is something that they hope to add to the fix to bring more homegrown people to help you out.
The problem was that the high school setting, you've got to be through that education system. They won't let an adult go in and teach children. Now, we can teach adults all day long at the Career Center.
In Barnwell, South Carolina, Sean Cabbage-Stock, WJBF Newschannel 6.
It's a sign for Augusta Transit users. After complaints of no signs at city bus stops or old faded ones on utility poles, new signage is on the way. The signs look better and will help riders see where they need to wait.
Come up with a design that everybody's happy with, and then we'll assist them in placing them in the correct spot so everything should work the way it should.
So riders will know where the bus is going to stop then?
Correct, yeah, they should know where it should stop. The signs should not be on posts that have stop signs or other types of signs so they don't conflict with one another.
Once the program's up and running, the signs will also display a number riders can text to let them know when their bus is scheduled to reach their stop. Good news for people who travel I-20 in our area. GDOT is done with nightly lane closures near the Savannah River, at least for now. Engineers were testing the dirt and rock in the areas near the river and the canal. They'll use that data when they get to work on replacing those bridges later this year. School leaders in Burke County are taking extra steps to ensure your kids get home safely. 10 school buses are now equipped with 7 cameras each to record people who break the law and put kids' lives at risk by driving around the stop arm. News Channel 6's Ashley Osborne shares more about this new technology.
Close calls like this one, or even worse, having a child get hit, something Burke County leaders aim to prevent.
We have about 20 or more incidences about every day, somewhere within the county. One is too many.
Transportation Director Reverend Clary Dishman says they've partnered with local law enforcement and with a company called Bus Patrol.
It's a 7-camera system that will capture anybody passing the stopped school bus.
Bus Patrol's Katie Sharkey says an actual person watches all of the recordings.
If you do pass the stop, you will be caught.
The video and pictures serve as evidence, and you'll get a $250 ticket in the mail.
They can actually log in online, see the evidence against them, and then choose to pay the citation online, call in the money over the phone. They can contest and have their day in court, but it's up to them to prove that they weren't driving the car that day, because Georgia legislation clearly states it goes to the registered owner of the vehicle.
Thompson schools have had something similar for years. Their transportation director tells me it works, and the area is driven by buses with cameras, and he wishes he could put them on all of the buses.
Our number one job is to ensure that our future leaders make it to become our future leaders. This is an awesome partnership which enables us to potentially save lives without costing taxpayer money.
You heard Chief Deputy Blanchard right. These crisp cameras didn't cost you, the taxpayer, anything. The company keeps most of the profit from the ticket fines and gives some back to the county.
We asked that everyone would treat every bus stop as if it was your child that was loading and unloading.
As a mother of 3, Sharkey says their goal is to bring the number of school bus stop arm violations to 0.
Put our business out of business, get the number to 0, because every time you pass a school bus, it's a chance a child's going to get hit and killed.
In Burke County, Ashley Osborne, WJBF News Channel 6.
The program goes live Tuesday after President's Day, February the 19th. An Evans High School student is trying to better educate her fellow classmates about historically black colleges and universities. As part of her senior project, Jada Bussey organized and invited representatives from a variety of HBCUs to her school. Those included Albany State, South Carolina State, and Payne College. The reps shared about their schools and helped answer questions for the students.
Most of the students in there are underclassmen, so I feel like it was important for the colleges to, get to them so they can maybe figure out what they want to do, where they want to go.
Jada is going to Clark Atlanta University next year and plans to study business management. Career services at Augusta University are helping many get ahead with their Career Expo Fair. The annual fair featured regional employees, nonprofits, and graduate programs, all looking for potential employees. Students got a chance to seek both full and part-time job opportunities. More than 500 job seekers and 70 organizations recruit each year.
Temperatures cooling nicely after a string of 80s this week. Right now we're at 55 in Thompson, 62 currently in Augusta, low 60s from Evans south towards Hepzibah. Already in the 50s, 55 in Aiken and 59 degrees at North Augusta and New Ellington. Jiffy Lube Skyview Network, downtown Augusta. Skies are partly cloudy, still kind of breezy out there. Winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. No rain, dry as can be. Forecast coming up for this evening, partly cloudy, dry, 56 at 8, 52 at 10. And by midnight, we're at 50 degrees. Winds out of the west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Cooler this weekend and a few showers. Have your forecast coming up in a second.
Historically black college and university leaders are working with members of Congress to increase educational opportunities through Opportunity Zones. I'm Bree Jackson on Capitol Hill, and I have details coming up.
Good evening, I'm Adrienne Wofford with your Cash 3, Cash 4, and Georgia 5 evening drawings. First, it's time for 5-card cash, where you can win up to $150,000. Here we go. 6 of spades, 2 of hearts, 6 of diamonds, 4 of spades, and Queen of clubs. Now let's play Cash 3. Your numbers this evening are 8. Next is 3, and finally 8. Those Cash 3 evening numbers again are 8, 3, 8. Good luck. And now your Cash 4 evening numbers, they are 7. That's followed by 5. Next we have 7, and your final Cash 4 evening number is 8. If you have 7, 5, 7, 8, congratulations. And now let's try your winning Georgia 5 numbers for this evening. First up is 5. That's followed by 3. Next we have 9. After that is 8. And finally 3. The Georgia 5 evening numbers are 5, 3, 9, 8, 3. Good luck and have a great evening.